Hi, I'm Lexi,
Hi, I'm Ray,
and
and
welcome to
welcome to
Spark
Spark
Bubble.
Bubble.
We nailed it, guys.
We did.
Today, we're going to be talking about many, many topics. You guys are going to get to learn a lot about me, Tia, or Lexi, and my co host.
Ray, or Ray of Sickness.
We are super excited. This has been a project that's been a long time in the making. So, without further ado, do you want to introduce the first topic?
Yeah, first I want to talk about how we both got into magic. So, Lexi, how did you first get into magic?
So I was pretty young, definitely on the younger side of players. I was not like Dana Fisher young, but I was only like 13, somewhere around there. My older brother and I had both started playing the game around the same time. And I was like super anxious to get into the game because I was like, I don't know, I don't really do card games, but obviously now I definitely do card games. So he kind of started the whole entire ball rolling for me. And the first deck I ever played was like blue red, like just kitchen table, super janky, like piratey type of deck. But then my first official deck was Liliana, the Amonkhet Precon. So that was super fun. And I turned that into an Infected Wither deck and became the bane of everyone's existence. And I loved it. Long story short, me and my brother both took interest in the game and kind of like learned how to play with one another. And then it became like this whole family thing. And it's been honestly amazing. I literally was talking to my brother today about decks and helping him get cards that he needs. So it's awesome. What about you?
I started playing in 2018. My partner introduced me to Magic. We went to my first pre-release together, which was the Guilds of Ravnica pre-release. I thought I was going to be a big Selesnya guy because I thought a hippie deck sounded pretty cool. That was before I knew any of the mechanics of the game. We went to the pre-release. I started with the Selesnya pre-release kit and then very quickly realized that Izzet was like my home. I was going to stick with Izzet for like the rest of forever. So I ended up being an Izzet main, being a nuisance there, pretty much buying up any precon that I could that had red and blue in it. My favorite for a while was my Brawlin and Shabra's precon, and then I built my first ever deck, which was a Nekuzar deck, and he is still my child.
He is a beautiful child. It's really cool that we kind of started around the same time. I think I started just a little bit before when Guilds released because I remember I think Guilds was also my first pre-release, but I had started like a couple months prior. Like I started in like October or something. I remember when I had started, the last block of Ixalan released, and I was gonna go to that pre-release, but I had no idea what pre-releases were because I was a 13-year-old kid that was just like card game fun. I want play. So I unfortunately did not do that pre-release, but then I kind of learned more about the game, and Guilds was my first pre-release and I loved it, and it was like memorable for me. So I'm glad that we both kind of had those similar starting experiences.
Yeah, it really adds to the whole same person, different font.
You guys can't see this, but me and Ray are literally in the exact same outfit with very similar makeup, and our hair's done in the same exact style. Okay, do you want to hop into the next topic?
Yeah, so what is your playstyle?
My playstyle has evolved a lot from when I first started. I took forever to figure out that style that finally just like clicked with me. I really like tokens. I like being aggressive and I like tokens. So the main decks and styles that I will play are either like token aura enchantment decks or like aggro Voltron decks. Obviously, I play a lot of like Minsk and Boo, Layla, my fairy deck, and of course my dragon deck. All of those are very aggressive play styles. They're very tokeny. There's a lot happening. I really like it. And I used to swear on my life that I would never become a blue player, but I am now mainly probably a blue player. I think almost every single deck that I play has blue in it, besides like 3 or 4 of the decks that I own. I think blue is like one of the favorite colors I get to play. When I started playing with Alayla, especially, finally interacting with blue more, I was like, oh yeah, this is a good combo. I like this a lot.
Maturing is realizing that blue is a good color.
What about for you? What's your playstyle?
Originally, it was sitting back and not attacking with creatures and finding ways to win without attacking with creatures, which is why I built Nekuzar. However, recently, my playstyle has just changed a lot. I'm, like running Krenko. I'm running Pantlaza. So I think it's just anything that makes me a nuisance in some way. I think I just have a sadistic playstyle. I like the nasty things. I like mill, I like infect, I like land destruction. I like things that are going to make my opponents hate me because that seems to be more fun to me. I really like Nekuzar. It's like one of my favorite play styles to play, the sitting back and just pinging my opponents for just playing the game. But I also really like Krenko in the fact where I can just mindlessly make goblins and swing with goblins. There's a huge range there.
There is. I think it's absolutely okay. Like, similar to like having different styles that you want to wear. Like, I obviously have this very alternative style, but there's other times I look like a little fairy that just walked out of a fairy cottage. Like, similar to the clothing that you wear, your deck styles are allowed to vary and you don't have to stick to just one specific deck style. And exploring multiple can be like super fun and add a lot of different levels to the game and also add levels to your knowledge of the game.
Absolutely, and it's super refreshing too, going from like a certain style of deck to a different style because, like sometimes I'll get bored of just brainlessly playing the game and I'll want
Oh,
to,
yeah.
think a little more. So I'll play like a storm deck or something like that.
I'm super excited for the bat deck that I'm building because it's white black, which isn't uncommon for me, but it's not super common for me to play just a white black deck. And it's also kind of like aristocraty, like life gain aristocraty kind of. So it's definitely a little different than what I'm normally used to, and I'm very here for it. Very excited.
I'm excited to see how it fares against my veto deck because my veto deck is also very much aristocrats.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. There's a veto in this deck, so
So for our next topic, who is your favorite commander?
So there's two. If someone asked me if I could only save one from burning building, I'd just die, dude. I would not be able to choose. My two favorites are Alila and obviously Tiamat. Dragons were like a huge part of my childhood. I've always been obsessed with dragons, like these huge mythical creatures that are just able to do so much. Like, I've always kind of resonated with them, and they're like one of my favorite things in fantasy. So being able to have my dragon deck, especially since a lot of my family, actually all of our screen names are styles of dragons and like different dragon families. So like at 13, choosing what I wanted my screen name to be and choosing Tiamat and then having years later Tiamat come out. Obviously that deck means a lot to me. I finally get to, have my passion in the game. And then Alayla is my other favorite because she's fairies, she's my bae, she's my waifu. I love her so much. I could not have asked for a better deck to resonate with me. When I started playing her, everything just clicked. And she's also means a lot to me because she was a deck that was built by both me and my boyfriend. He was actually the person who bought me a Layla and then helped me upgrade her when we started dating. So it's kind of like this little relic of our dating history and like our friendship too. So those are my favorite. It goes deeper than just like the card.
That's super cute. So for me, I would say I still have to give it to Nekuzar. I'm on the same page of you where there's two that I would say are my favorite, and it'd be Krenko Mob Boss and then Nekuzar the Mind Razor, because they're two vastly different decks, but they're two really, really fun decks.
Yeah, I've played against and played with some other Krenko decks, and I have to say they are extremely fun decks. Not exactly my playstyle that I would go for all the time, but they're fun. Nekusar decks, they're just trying to spread the love. That's what I call those. I'm like, Nekusar, I'll play against Nekusar any day.
Pug deck, that's all we're doing is, giving everybody cards.
Exactly. No deceit, definitely not.
So then our next topic, do you have a favorite Magic card?
I like this card specifically because of the art, and I will show it to you. It is one of the new bat cards from Bloomborough. It's an uncommon. It's a bat cleric, and it is Star Charter, and I have it in foil, and she's just so pretty. I fell in love when I first saw this card's art, and it's actually a pretty good card too. So with me and my new obsession of bats and stuff, it has to be Star Charter, like hands down. Beautiful card, beautiful art. I smile whenever I see it. I'm like, that's my girl.
It's got gorgeous art,
especially in the foil. The foil just like it shimmers, it shines. It's mine. What about you? What's your favorite card?
My favorite card, which is, I think, the complete opposite vibe of a cute Bloomborough card, is Peer into the Abyss.
Oh, I love it.
It has that cursed, like, head eating a head art. I just think it's a really fun card that makes you have a lot of friends. I run it in Nekuzar. It is one of the win cons in Nekuzar. I run it in pretty much any deck that has black in it just for the sake of I can. I made like little business cards, I guess, that I was going to hand out at a con, and I edited my face as the art. So now there is a very cursed card that I plan to give out at conventions of just my head eating my head eating my head.
That's amazing. I love it. I think Magic offers so many unique like art styles and alterations of cards that it kind of has something for everyone. Like if you like a certain type of cutesy cards, we just got Bloomburrow, but now we have Duskmourn, which is like the complete opposite of like Bloomburrow. It goes from like, oh, we're so cute to like, oh crap, that's creepy. That's spooky. So I really like the diversity and not just like art, but also aesthetics that Magic cards can give. And there's a lot of good cards to choose for favorite cards. So I'm glad we could at least narrow it down.
All right, so for our next topic, what is your favorite Magic set?
If we're talking about recent sets, it hands down has to go to Bloomburrow. My other podcast that I do with my partner, the first episode we released in the beginning of this year, it was like in February, right before MagicCon Chicago. We had talked about what set we were most excited for this year, and my answer, like hands down, was like, I'm super excited for Bloomburrow. My favorite all-time set, Tarkir, hands down. Amazing set. Love my dragons. There's so many commanders that I've played from that set as well, or even that block, like the whole Tarkir block. Amazing. Oh, so good. I love it. Love it so much. I there's no words for it. I can't figure out what to say about it other than dragons and the mechanics, like the choosing between cons or dragons or whatever the two options that you had were. It was awesome. I loved it.
For me, I would say my favorite set is another one that came out this year. Well, remastered version of it. It'd be the Ravnica set, because I started with Guilds of Ravnica, and then the next set right after or soon after was Ravnica Allegiance. And both of those were super fun for me. And this year, when Ravnica Remastered came out, my partner actually got me one of the collector booster boxes for my birthday.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and I pulled that really cool like alt art of Krenko.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick. And I love just like the art style in that set. I love the mechanics. Like it's very, as a Izzet lover, it has so many good like Izzet cards in it, like Goblin Electromancers in there, Gutter Snipes in there.
Oh, Gutter
stuff
Snipes
like
is
that.
goated.
Yeah, and then there's also like the shocks, Izzet Boilerworks, Overgrown Tomb. I actually got like a retro art of that one that I end up selling. But yeah, I got like Sacred Foundry. It pulled all that cool stuff from that. So yeah, it's definitely like any of the Ravnica sets.
Yeah, I think Ravnica had really good mechanics. I think Ravnica was where Dredge was first introduced, but then they also had like Undergrowth for Guilds of Ravnica. Like they always like Ravnica was a set that was always spot on for me. All the Ravnica sets that I've ever played with, which has been all of them, they all have like such unique cards, even though like we literally have like return to Ravnica. So it's like it's been done so many times, but each time they end up being able to add another level of like flavor to it. I think if I were to say like an honorable mention would be like Wilds of Eldraine for me. Unfortunately, it just moved down a peg because Tarkir, I always forget about Tarkir. It was so long ago. And like that was before my time playing Magic. Like I played Wilds and I played like a lot of the more modern sets coming out, but I unfortunately did not get to play in any of the pre-releases for any of the Tarkir sets. So I think that's why it's moved up to spot number 1 because it's such a classic set to me.
Sweet. So next is going to be a fun topic, I think, for both of us. Who is your favorite Planeswalker?
I think I have to go with Liliana, just because she was the first Planeswalker that I ever played with. Her aesthetics and just the cards and like the interactions with zombies. Like I used to play a zombie deck. I used to play a lot of reanimate decks. So just having that kind of like nostalgia, having that with a card just really makes me like it a lot more than some of the other Planeswalkers that I've encountered. And I also don't think I really play with many other Planeswalkers now. I used to have like one in every deck, but I think it's way less than that now. Other than her, Minsc Boo, my boy. He's my baby. What about for you? I mean, I think the answer is pretty obvious, but...
Yeah, you can't see behind me right now, but she's plastered on my wall. So my favorite Planeswalker is Nahiri.
Oh, I would have never guessed.
I, definitely haven't made my entire personality about her or anything. Basically, the story behind her is I wanted a commander deck, and I was going to get a precon for my first commander deck. Walked into my LGS. I saw this beautiful pale woman holding a sword, and the name of the precon was Forged in Stone. And if you don't know, I'm a very big, like, rock and geology nerd, so I was like, that one. Plus, she's hot, so give me. And like the deck itself, kind of mid, not the best. I don't really like a mono white deck, and mono white equipment just didn't hit very hard. But she hits pretty hard because she's she's pretty hot. I made, I think, one TikTok about how, I thought she was cute. And then since then, we're married now, she's my wife. I have her all over my wall. I have a binder dedicated to her. I cosplayed her this year. That was pretty sick. But yeah, she's definitely my top number one planeswalker, and I think she'll stay that way forever.
Yeah, I obviously knew the answer, but some people might not know the answer. It's okay. It's okay. I kind of always had a weird thing with the Planeswalker deck for her because when I was first getting into Magic, I saw her and Elspeth and I was like, oh, this could be a really cool deck. And I even revisited that recently because one of the LGSs that I went to had the pre-con and I was like, oh, I should get. And then I was like, what, am I really going to like it? I'm like, but it's Nahiri. Am I going to like it? So I unfortunately did not get the deck, but I completely get that moment of but she's so pretty. But am I going to like playing the deck? Because that style of deck it's difficult to play, I'll be honest.
Yes.
Mono white, especially when you're doing what she does in the pre-con, that is a hard deck to survive a game with. And I think mono white is one of the hardest colors still to this day to survive a game of Commander in. It's just unfortunately lesser than some of the other colors, in my opinion.
Yeah, unless you're playing stacks.
Yeah, then you we gotta splash a little blue in there when you're, mono white stacks. No, you need Azorius stacks.
The Nahiri you want to build around, have a commander deck with, is the Forged in Fury one. I actually have a deck list, and I plan on building a deck of that to have as my little pet deck at some point. But yeah, that is the main Nahiri commander that everyone builds around because she's really good. She's got the affinity for equipment, stuff like that, or artifacts, one of the two.
That adds a lot of value.
Oh yeah. So this channel is not just going to be about Magic, right? We're going to be doing a little bit of other stuff mixed in. One of those things that we're hoping to do is D&D maybe. So I wanted to kind of switch the topic from Magic to Dungeons and Dragons. And to start that, let's talk about our favorite D&D classes.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for this because I've been playing D&D for longer than you probably could even imagine. I was between 4 and 6 when I played my first campaign. And my favorite class has almost always been Bard. I love Bards. They're so versatile. And I talked about this on another podcast because we were also talking about Dungeons and Dragons. But I'm not talking you're sweaty, oh, I'm gonna seduce the dragon. No. I'm talking she's got her skill proficiencies in cooking, and that's what her bardic inspiration is. And the way that she inspires people is by giving them really yummy food. And then if she doesn't like you, will poison you with her food, but you can't tell because it's so goddamn delicious. That's the kind of bard I play, okay? Get that seduce the dragon shit out of here. That's put it over there. I play very unique bards. I play very fun bards. I think there's much more to them than just seducing the dragon and twerking in their direction, What's your favorite?
So now that you said all of that, my favorite class is also Bard, but it is the Seduce the Dragon kind. But it has more depth to that, okay? So here's an example. I have a D&D OC of mine. They are a changeling bard, and they are a stripper at a nightclub. And they are the only stripper at that nightclub because they can just shapeshift into the different dancers. So I have them with different little personas, one's a tiefling, one's just Aasimar, and it's so good because they make all the money and I get to play different characters by playing that one character. The Aasimar, for instance, when it goes on stage, he will make his wings expand and make a shower of glitter go everywhere, and that can inspire everybody. But yeah, I really like taking really basic D&D class mechanics, oh yeah, dancers. Okay, so I'm gonna be a dancer at a nightclub. That kind of thing,
I mean, what I really like about what you did with that character is it's still very unique. It's not just your classic seduce the dragon, whatever, I'm gonna play the lute or whatever. You added your own little twist to it, and adding that little spice in there makes so much of a difference to me in games. It adds so much personality and depth than just someone who's choosing bard for the reason to only make the GM, DM, whichever one you want to use, groan and be no, you cannot seduce the dragon.
I can seduce the dragon because I have angel wings, though, that have glitter on them. So it's a little different.
Oh, big brain glitter. Dragons like anything shiny, just like me. That's why I'm a dragon,
Exactly. So next, what is our favorite D&D race?
My favorite D&D race are... Oh my god, I'm gonna get screamed at by how I say it. Tieflings.
Yes.
Tieflings.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Tieflings. They're my favorite. I have played Tieflings for so long. I really like the look of them. I like the abilities. I think my favorite thing is like horns. I think there's nothing better than horns, you know? Jester horns, little ram horns. Doesn't matter. Horns are great. I really liked being different than the party too. And I think tieflings, they're very different. You know, humans, okay, they're just humans. Elves, they're humans with pointy ears. So then you have tieflings and like you can have them have horns, different tails, wings, skin tones. Like there's so much customization that can go into it and like upsides and downsides of each customization, you know? I really liked playing with them and I don't think that'll ever stop. They're a very unique and very cool race. What's yours?
So mine used to be tiefling for the same reason, and also because like they're cool little edgy characters, you know. But I have a couple. I started off playing D&D as halflings. I love halflings just because they're so like stupidly versatile. And then changelings. Changelings are also like one of my favorites to play just because you can pretty much be anything, but you're also like kind of nothing. It creates this like aura of mystery around you as well.
I never played a changeling, but after hearing your pitch on your character, I'm kind of like, changeling time? Changeling time? Maybe. One of my good friends did play a changeling though, and our characters ended up getting married, and that was very cute. That's how all of my campaigns end. Like, my characters go on for a couple campaigns, end up like meeting someone, and then they retire, and then the next generation is like their kids or whatever. Like, there's this whole entire line. We can get into that in another podcast. My D&D character family line, because it's big.
All right, so next, do you have a favorite D&D monster?
Who do you think I am to not have a favorite monster? I don't know. My name's just Tiamat, guys. I couldn't possibly be Tiamat, you know? No, it's Tiamat. I love my dragon queen. She's beautiful. Her 5 heads. I wish I had 5 heads. Maybe I don't. You know, that might get a little confusing, but I love her. She's great. She's chaotic. She's just a beautiful dragon, and if I could be her, I would. If I could be a changeling, I would just be Tiamat all day, every day. A little baby Tiamat, though. Like, I need to be like the cute one, you know, and then I'll just snuggle up with the other one. Bam, my life is made. That's my ideal day in the life.
So my favorite D&D monster is a Nightwalker. They are these like giant creatures from the Shadowfell, but they're horrifying looking.
Oh,
like,
they are.
absolutely
I know
terrifying.
exactly what you're talking about.
So yeah, they have this mechanic called Finger of Doom where pretty much they like point at somebody and you have to like do a wisdom saving throw or you take like a whole lot of necrotic damage. Like it's a silly amount.
That's
And
pretty
it-
badass, though. Like,
They just point and then you're like, okay, I'm dead now.
dude, if I had that power, so many people would be dead. That's utterly terrifying, but in the funniest way possible. Like, just being able to point at someone and be like, okay, you're dead now. Like, it's like the Death Note on steroids.
Yeah. If Light Yagami had just the Nightwalker ability, that'd go crazy.
Oh my god, that's insane. Is there anything else you want to add about your finger pointers?
No, I think that's all. I think Light Yagami being mentioned is enough.
Alright, this is gonna be a light Yagami. From now on. We're gonna talk Death Note and only Death Note.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, the second Kira.
Oh my god.
Alrighty. So how did we both get into D&D?
I kind of went into this a little bit already, but my stepdad actually introduced my older brother and I. We were fairly young, I think 4 to 6 age, and we'd play at our kitchen table, and he'd do everything. So I'm a stupid 6-year-old or 4-year-old or whatever. I can't even read right, you know? So he'd like kind of explain it all to us, and he'd always make up like little silly campaigns for us to go on. And I'd try to cheat and like pretend that I rolled a d20 because I knew that was good. And then he'd be like, oh no, that's actually the worst thing that you could have possibly done. Now you're going to like this plane that's absolute like hell. And I'm like, oh, I learned a lot of lessons throughout the game because I was a little mischievous child. He kind of just sat us down and we started playing, and I would like beg to play. Like, I fell in love with the game once I started playing it. And so throughout the years, I have multiple one-shots / campaigns that I did with me and my brother, and then eventually it ended up being like all 4 of my siblings and I, like a little family night. It was fun.
That's so cute. I started playing when I was in like middle or high school. And like in high school, I was this nerd sophomore year that with the help of my English teacher had a D&D sign up sheet.
Nice.
And that's actually how I met my partner that I'm with today.
Aww.
They ended up signing up for that D&D session and we ended up hosting it actually at their house. That's how we met. From then, I was the DM. I ran a lot of one shots. I think I tried to run a campaign, but I could never like really stick to one. I kind of fell out of it in the most recent years. I don't think I've played it in about 3 or 4 years just because I got stuck as a forever DM and I just couldn't claw my way out. And I just missed playing it so much. But I do have like some one shots and everything that I'm super proud of. And I also have like this entire campaign that I've been wanting to execute. That's really cool. That's like this post-apocalyptic type
Okay.
campaign. But yeah, I got into it in high school. And my first tattoo when I turned 18 was the D&D logo.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I also fortunately and unfortunately fell into the trap of being the forever DM once I got into high school because I did have a friend group that I would play it with. So I'm looking forward to, if we do some D&D stuff here, being able to actually be a player and switch between being like a dungeon master and a player, or like having maybe guest people that want to be dungeon masters too. Like that would be really cool. Just doing like a quick 1 to 2 hour one shot or whatever. I think we can do some really unique stuff with it and make sure that we don't get stuck as DMs.
Just make everybody else be the DM and we're the players.
Yeah, exactly.
On to a super fun topic. What is your favorite dice set?
So I have this new one that I got actually, and it's really sad how I got it, but really sweet at the same time. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the backstory. I got this set only like how many months ago? It was June, 2-3 months, something like that, because my dog unfortunately passed away at the age of 17. He was very old, but I loved him. He was great. And on that same day that he passed away is the day that we go to play Magic normally. So I was like in tears, like crying my eyes out. I found out literally maybe like an hour before we went to go play. So we took a quick pit stop to get something for my boyfriend at a different game store. And he comes back with these beautiful, like, they're like opalescent almost, but they're all like rainbowy and like sparkly. And like they have like it's not foil, but it's that like white foiled stuff. I forget what it's called.
Like holographic?
Yeah, kind of. But it looks so pretty. But he comes back with this set and like it just made my entire day. I was like so much like I wasn't happy, obviously, but like that small gesture, I love that set so much. It's so pretty. I play with it all the time now. It's in my game bag. They're so cool. But what is your favorite set of dice? I'm really interested in hearing this because I am a dice goblin or dice dragon, I guess.
So I haven't looked at my dice in probably a year. So the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that I know that I really liked were these green swirly looking dice. And I bought them because I was going to play like a druid character. So I wanted something to match. But I also have some quartz dice that were really cool. But off the top of my head, I'd say it's the green ones for sure. And I don't have any memory of how I got these dice. I kind of just hoard them and pick them up when I find them pretty.
Yeah, it's so hard to narrow down to just one dice set because I think I literally have a video on my personal TikTok that's like, how many dice sets do I have? And it's just me pouring out like 6 like dice bags and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I know I have way too many. It's okay. It's not a problem, guys. It's not. It is, but it's not.
I am such a horribly materialistic person that the obsessions, like it started with like rocks for me. I have so many crystals.
Yeah.
All over my house. But then I also have a bunch of dice when I was into D&D. But because I've stopped being so much into D&D, I have not accumulated more dice, but it didn't stop me from accumulating other things.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried to get back into D&D because now I'm collecting Magic cards and I'm collecting Five Nights at Freddy's things. I'm still collecting those crystals. So like I'm the dragon.
Yes, become me. There's no better version than me.
Also, what's super funny is both of our names are D&D related.
Yeah.
And then our last thing for the D&D section is our favorite D&D character.
Ooh, this is a good one. All-time favorite. I love her so much. Her name's Saffron, and she was originally created to make fun of KFC because, you know, they have like their, 12 original seasonings and spices or whatever.
Yeah, the 11 herbs and spices.
Yeah, 11 herbs and spices, that's what it was. So I created Saffron, and Saffron has 10 siblings that are also named after herbs and spices. Okay, this character has been around since I was like 14, probably. And they're a chef. They are actually the character that I was talking about earlier. She's a bard, but she like poisons people and inspires people by giving them like really good food to eat. She owns her own inn. She is just this amazing character, and I've put so much time and effort in developing like her relationships in game and like her aspects, her attitude. Like she's come so far as a character. She's the character that I am most attached to, but she's also the character that I think I can most relate to because she's been through so much. And it's really unique when you get a character that you start to like almost connect with, if that doesn't seem weird. Like, I don't know. There's things that when you play a character so much, you aren't becoming the character, obviously, but like you understand the character, you know the character. It's like a little OC, you know, that's basically what a D&D character is. It's your own original character, and she's my baby. She's the one I've had the longest. She's the one that I've developed the most. I love her. She's married now. She's a family. She's happily retired, as I like to say.
Got a happily ever after. That's cute.
Bro, I tried to kill her like 7 times.
Oh my god.
They wouldn't have it, guys. They wouldn't let me do it. I tried so hard, dude. And then they brought her back to life, or they like did all this other stuff. And I'm like, just let her die. There's 2 ways that my characters will end. Most of the time, I try to wrap it up and give them a happy ending. But other times, I'm just like, kill it. Off with their head. Here we go. We're gonna die. And sometimes it happens intentionally. Sometimes it doesn't. I was trying to kill this character so that their fiance partner at the time, they could get more development, or so that their kid could have like a reason they wanted to be like following in their mom's footsteps. So I don't know. I tried so many things and each time they got vetoed. So anyway, enough about Saffron. Let's hear about your favorite character because I'm sure it's going to be absolutely amazing.
You know, and it's not an attempted, murder or like a murder confession. Other than the character I've already said, because I would say probably that they're my favorite, the Changeling. I will say I did have this character growing up that was a halfling rogue. I do not remember her name because it's been so long, but she was the best character to play. She was the one who got thrown halfway across the room just because you can, throw halflings around like that if you're a big orc or something. And I remember she had this really cool dagger where like if you said the dagger's name, it would like light up and have like a special like magical ability to
Oh,
it.
that's really cool.
And I even used her as an inspiration for like this D&D story that I wanted to write. So she's like one of the important characters, not a main character because she like dies off, but she was like an important character in this D&D story that I had crafted years ago. She was what like made D&D fun for me and really what got me like started into it. So without her, I wouldn't have been able to branch out into like the Changeling and whatever other races and classes that I played. So yeah, thank you, undisclosed name of halfling rogue that I played. Love you.
I think everybody's first or like starter character has some sort of significance to them, whether it be like, oh, this was just a really funny, silly character that I played and ended up really liking, or one that like actually got you into the game. But I think all those characters are very, very meaningful. So I'm glad that yours could be in this case.
Yeah, definitely. Then now onto our final little section of stuff we want to talk about. It is not any gaming related. In fact, the first topic I want to talk about is our hobbies outside of gaming.
I think most people who either have seen my channel or follow me or just have talked to me in general know that I'm an extremely crafty person. And most of the time, I'm always going to be doing a different craft. Like one day I'll be doing something and the next day something completely different. So I definitely say crafting is a big hobby of mine outside of Magic and even inside Magic. I do a lot of Magic related hobbies, crafts, stuff like that. One that I don't think even touches Magic the Gathering like at all or even D&D. Definitely could eventually. Baking and cooking. I'm a huge baker. I love cooking. I don't do it as much as I really want to, but when I get the chance to, I'm extremely happy. I actually made these banana walnut cupcakes with a brown sugar buttercream, and they were so good. I made them with my nieces a couple weeks ago. I have fun when I can with the cooking and the baking. Other than that hobby, just general collecting, I think. I have multiple kind of like collections, and it ranges from anything from like dice to plushies to pins, stuff like that. So I would say those are probably my main ones right now.
For me, I would say my hobbies outside of gaming are just more gaming. But like I play Elden Ring a lot, especially recently. I'm trying to get to the DLC, so I'm trying so hard, man. And like I've been doing a seamless co-op run with my partner, and that's going really well. I used to be super into Stardew Valley. I have 400 hours into the
Oh,
game.
I love Stardew.
But besides like actual gaming, I actually like going outside a lot. Like I went hiking a couple weeks ago. I actually like went and stayed in a cabin, and then we went hiking like 5 miles, I think, one day. And then when I was in college, I think one time I did like an 11-mile hike. That was awful, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. So I really like hiking and I like being outside because I'm a very big nature person. I just don't get to go experience it as much anymore.
I feel that. I could definitely go either way. Like, I can be an indoor person sometimes. I am very, I don't want to say sensitive to the weather, but I don't like getting super wet. I like the aesthetics of rain, but I don't like being in the rain all the time. I think it's part of the autism, like it just, it doesn't like that. I don't even know what it is. It's just, ugh. In the fall and the spring, that's the most you'll see me outside most of the time. I really like taking like early morning or like late afternoon walks around the parks or going to like gardens, like local gardens. I love them so much. I know that a lot of them you have to pay for, unfortunately, but like I love them so much. I love gardens. I love being in that kind of environment. So I could definitely relate to the outdoorsiness. But for me, I think it's a lot less than you. I could not, I'd be a mile in and I'd be like, okay, I'm done. Where's my hot Cheetos and my like I could not do that. So props to you for doing that because I cannot commit to something like that.
On our last hike, the last mile of it, it started pouring down rain. And I was sweating profusely, like disgustingly dripping sweat. I hadn't hiked in over a year and I hit that 5-mile hike. That rain, though, oh my gosh, it was the best feeling ever after feeling I was dying for like 3
Yeah,
hours.
I bet that did feel nice, actually.
Yeah, my partner got upset because we didn't know where we were. There was a gravel part that was not marked. There was not a trailhead for the longest time. And so we just didn't know if we were going the right way. And it turns out we were, but need more trail markers where we were because we did not know where we're going.
Yeah, that would be important.
All right, so the next topic is probably super quick. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color, it changes a lot. I'm indecisive. Probably pink and purple. Those are probably my two favorites right now. I love them. I used to hate pink. I used to really like pink, and then I hated it, and then I liked it. And you know what? I'm just accepting that pink is a color, and I like it.
Pink is a color, yes.
No, it's an object, obviously.
It's actually a person. She's a pop star.
Yeah, oh my god. It is a person. You're right. Pink, the singer. What is your favorite color?
My favorite color is yellow. I've dyed my hair yellow once and it was amazing, but keeping up with yellow hair dye is awful.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah.
I normally just dye my hair blue because I like how the blue looks on me, but blue's not my favorite color. It's yellow.
Yeah. Also, yellow and black is a really good color combination. For the longest time, I was actually obsessed with if I had a wedding, it was going to be like yellow and black themed, kind of like a Bumblebee like type theme. Who knows? Maybe it still will be, probably not, but I think it's a very cool color combo.
Oh yeah, and I was in love with Bumblebee, like the Transformer growing up.
Oh, that's my favorite Transformer. Bumblebee, hands down, dude. I don't even care what you say. Bumblebee, ooh, my man, I love him.
Literally named my cat after him.
Yeah.
All right, so what obsessions do we have that don't involve like magic or D&D?
Plushies. I have a ton of plushies on my desk and then in my bed, and then there's trash bags full of them downstairs because we're moving and we had to pack them all away. Like, I have so many. I will beg my boyfriend to bring me to Build-A-Bear so that I can make more Build-A-Bears, and he looks at me and goes, "Are you insane? Are you crazy?" And occasionally he will let me go get one. But for the most part, he'll be like, "We're not going to Build-A-Bear." He's like, "You don't need more." I'll come home with like a Squishmallow from work, and he's like, "The fuck you get that?" He's like, "You didn't need more." I'm like, "Yes, I did. This one's a bat. The other one's a dog. Like, they're nothing alike, dude. Come on." So yeah, plushies have taken over my life. They're great. Other than that, we've already talked about dragons. We've talked about my obsession with cottagecore fantasy frogs. We have not talking about frogs. Let me tell you about frogs. I know some of you out here hate frogs because there's like Spore Frog and Poison Dart. How could you hate Poison Dart Frog though? He's so cute. Put him with a Ragavan, give them some guns, and they're like the perfect duo. I have to show you that meme later. You're gonna laugh. I love frogs. Frogs are great. I have nothing more to add about frogs. You should like frogs, and if you don't, get off of this podcast.
We're not going to talk about the spore frog that is pinned to my wall that is in frame in the video chat that we're using. It has loser scratched across him.
Well, you're the loser. You know that.
I love poison dart frog. I think he's cute. Spore
He
frog
is.
die and not
Okay,
respawn.
okay. Okay. Spore Frog, if I'm playing it, he's fine. If other people are playing it, fucking kill that thing.
Exile that thing. Make it go away forever.
But yeah, and then also
Rip
on
it
my
out.
desk, I have my strawberry frog. He has a little butt. It's so cute.
Goodness.
I love him. Anyway, now that we got sidetracked by frogs, what are some of your obsessions, right?
So I talked about them briefly already. I really like crystals. I used to be big into like the spiritual aspects of crystals. Not so much anymore, but I mean it's still there for me. When I was in college, I was going for geology and I dropped out, but we're not going to talk about that. If I go back though, which I hopefully do plan to, it would still be for geology because I just really like earth sciences and rocks. But yeah, so crystals and rocks, definitely one of the big ones. I have way too many. Another big one besides like magic, and I'm going to exclude Nahiri just for the fact that she's a part of magic. Another obsession is Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know why, but it's got its claws in me, and they're deep, man. They're
I
in
think
there.
we've all been there before. Like, especially like people who are around your and my age. Like, the game started coming out when we were like preteens to teenagers, and like they were pretty big when they first came out. Like, they got a lot of hype, and it's a good franchise. I won't say that I'm obsessed with it anymore. I used to be. I used to watch like every single live stream, every theory video, but it's definitely something that still has my interest. So I can definitely I can relate. You know, it's not a bad thing to be obsessed about.
You know, it's been 10 years since the first game
Yeah, they
came
just
out.
had their like big celebration. They released that new song, a new game, new
Yep.
merch, like a bunch of stuff. It was really cool.
I was a big fan, I still am, of Markiplier, and I, to this day, will rewatch that entire playlist.
Oh, I will. Absolutely.
But yeah, I saw the other day that FNAF 2 came out 9 years ago, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a new car recently, and I'm like decorating it because I never thought I would ever have a new car ever. So I bought vent clips and I got the little like bitty pops, the Funko Pops that are like super tiny, and I got the Five Nights at Freddy's ones, and I'm gonna plaster them all over my car, and I can't wait.
Yeah, they're so cute and they're so small. And I think they're actually perfect for decorating cars because I'm also someone who really likes decorating interior and exterior of cars. My partner's car has a bunch of anime girls on it and then a bunch of me. And on the inside, it's not too decorated, but hopefully we'll get there eventually.
Also, I want to say as my last obsession that I'll mention, it's Elden Ring. When the game first came out, I did not have a PC. I did not play the game until this year because I got a PC last year, I think. But I just started playing Elden Ring by myself for the first time, and it is amazing. Before I did that, since the game came out, I had been watching videos. I watched my partner play the game, and bro literally has 100% of the game. So, like, I've watched so much gameplay, and I love it so much. The atmosphere, the graphics, all of it is sick. And the DLC that came out is insane, and I'm kind of horrified to get to it, but I can't wait. It's like
I've heard
the
the
bosses.
DLC is really good.
I watched my partner play through it, and the bosses are horribly hard, which, like, I mean, if you're a Souls player, you should, just do it. But when I get to it, because this is the first Souls game I've ever played, I'm super scared. But like watching them play the DLC and then go back to normal gameplay, I actually was able to see like, oh, you can parry here, or you can like roll here. Because the normal game enemies compared to the movesets of the DLC enemies, they're so slow.
Yeah.
The base game is so slow compared to the DLC. Yeah, sorry, that was a rant. Anyway, as you can tell, it's one of the obsessions.
It is. It is. And I think that's okay. I have played Elden Ring like once when the game first came out, but I've watched like my brother play it, and it seems like a really fun game to play. And the short time that I played it, I really liked it. So who knows? Maybe I'll try to get into it when I have the time and the computer power to do so.
Yes, if you have the computer power, we could do a seamless co-op run.
Yes.
All right, we only have a couple more categories left. One is, what is your favorite music, artist, band, song, any of that?
That's really tricky because I listen to a variety of music. I normally say anything but country. I can listen to country, but I listened to it so much as a kid because that's like what my mom would play in the car, that it just sometimes annoys me when I hear certain songs now. So I think I'm just gonna have to pick out a genre. And recently, it's been like lesbian cunty pop. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like hot girl, I'm gonna steal your like girlfriend, like she's super hot, come be with me, don't be with him. Like that's the kind of music that I've been like vibing to recently. And honestly, ooh, it gets me in a mood. Mood is like I'm a badass bitch mood. Like I'm so ready when this music comes on. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. Steal her from I'm like, oh my god, this music just gets me going. It's normally so upbeat, and then like you just listen to the lyrics and you're just like, oh goddamn, they're going down in the kitchen right now. So yeah, that's probably the one genre that like I've been listening to the most. Similar songs to that, or like what I would call either like lesbian cunty pop or like just gay cunt pop. Chapel Roan. I don't listen to her too much, but she'll get in there. She's in there. Sabrina Carpenter. Oh, Sabrina Carpenter. Anyway, enough with my admiration of women.
As you should.
What is your favorite music artist, song, band, genre, all that good stuff?
So I have two ends of a something. Two sides. I don't know how to say this. They're different.
Okay.
They're
Two
different.
sides of the
So
spectrum.
yeah, so there's one, I love Kesha. Oh my god, just all of it. The other opposite like spectrum side is like alternative rock. So I listen to a lot of like Pierce the Veil and
Yes.
Falling in Reverse, unfortunately, and like those kinds of songs. System of a Down, love System of a Down.
Chop Suey.
Yes, that and like oh my gosh, I just love how he can just make his voice sound so silly.
Mhm.
And then he talks about like super serious topics and then pizza.
And then Chinese food.
Yeah. But yeah, so I really love Kesha. I really love her songs. Like her newest song, Joyride. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
So good. What about our pets? What kind of pets do you have?
Okay, so I currently have my pride and joy, my baby, who you've seen attack me throughout this entire thing and just come up and randomly bite me. She is the sweetest devil that you will ever meet. I love her. Her name is Twix, before anyone asks, because I get this question so much. She is a right Twix. We've discussed it multiple times, and we think that she acts like a right Twix would. She's sassy in all the best ways. She is my cuddle bug, my best friend. I come home from work, I sit on the couch to do schoolwork or whatever, and she's cuddled up right with me. I don't think I would have been able to go through half of the changes I went through this past year without this cat. She's like a major role in both my boyfriend's and my lives. And there's times already, she's a very young cat. She's only 2, just turned 2 like in April, so she's very young. But there are times where I will literally start tearing up because I will be like, what am I going to do without this cat? And I'm like, this is so sad. Stop thinking about that. She still has like another 10 years to go. But she is my pride and joy. I know you have your little kitties, so go ahead and talk about your little pets.
Yes, I have BB, who is my pride and joy. That's Bumblebee. When I first got her, I was calling her Bumblebee, but we have another cat, not mine, but in the house, and her name is Cece. So I was like, I'll just call her BB. And that kind of stuck because I started opening the door and be like, BB! And then now she answers to her name. As soon as I get home and she sees that I'm home, she runs to me. She'll flop over on her back. She likes belly rubs. You can rub her belly. It's crazy. And yeah, she's the sweetest thing ever. Like the other night, I literally big spooned her for the entire night. I was tossing and turning, and she just adjusted, and we were just cuddling all night. But yeah, she's super, super sweet. And then I also have a lizard. His name is Soup. He's pretty cool. He's chill. He eats his little crickets, which I'm hoping you haven't heard chirping in the background this entire time because they've been
Well, I
chirping.
definitely can't hear it, so I don't think they can hear it either. My siblings have a lot of lizards. I grew up with a lot of lizards, especially in the most recent years. And I actually was thinking about possibly opening up the conversation with my partner about when we get a bigger place of maybe getting a lizard. I don't know how that would go with our cat, though. I don't know if she'd be super curious, but I think if we had a safe place to put it, because I had cats before with lizards and stuff, but I want to get a little, either a leopard gecko or one of the little baby, like, jumping geckos. Those are my 2 favorites. I love them. They're adorable. I know how to take care of them because I've grown up with them. And I think they're really, I don't want to say they're beginner friendly, but they're definitely on the like easier side of animals to take care of sometimes. So I definitely have thought about getting a lizard. I think they're very cool pets. Either that or a frog, but I don't really know where you can get frogs. My siblings, they're so extra with their lizards. Literally, you'll like walk into our house, and my little sister and little brother and everything, they'll just have like their lizards just chilling on their shoulders, like just relaxing, like they're just handling them all the time. They'll put them back in their tank. My little brother has a little carrying purse for his lizard and he'll like take it out to go sometimes. Normally in the summer, not in like the winter or anything, but yeah, he'll take him to go on a walk just in this little carrying case. And I'm like, okay, weirdo. But yeah, it's really cool. I like lizards. They are really chill animals. I think we're getting near the end of our list.
Yes, we are. We're actually at the very end. So the last
Mhm.
thing that we're going to talk about today is where we hope to go with the channel.
That's pretty easy question for me. I feel like we both really have similar aspirations when it comes to things. I want this channel to be something fun. I want it to be, low key, just something that we can enjoy and something that like our community can enjoy because both of us have very unique and diverse communities. And I think what we could offer to them is also just as diverse and unique.
Yeah, I completely agree. I hope that we can make a really fun community on here, magic related or D&D related if we end up getting into that, or just people who enjoy us for being us and just see how that goes and see where it goes. But I'm open to see how far it'll go, and I think we're going to have a great time with it.
Yeah, I think having fun is one of the most important parts of any project that you want to do because if there's no passion, the project is just going to be miserable. So with this, it's been such like a process for us. It's taken us so long to get to this point, but I'm excited to hopefully start this journey and just have a bunch of fun.
Yeah. So we do plan on having different game sections. So if we do end up doing D&D stuff, we'll have little sections for that. Or if we end up playing Magic, which will most definitely happen, we'll have
Oh
a
yeah.
set for that. We're just kind of going where the wind takes us, but we do have plans to maybe collaborate with some people who are interested to have some Magic games, or maybe like we talked about earlier, we can con somebody into being our DM. But
I
yeah,
think we're both pretty convincing.
yeah, we could just bat our eyelashes. Please. Definitely stay tuned. We are also going to be posting to like TikTok and like Instagram, all that good stuff. You can find us there as well once we get up and running.
We do also have a Beacons page, so if you need any of our links, they will most likely always be there. Any special event that might pop up in the future, they'll be there. We'll make sure that we have that updated.
I think that is all we got. So thank you all so much for listening to us talk, and I hope you listen to us yap more.
Yes, please listen to us. We love talking. So
Yes.
just a reminder, both of us, even though we are doing this together, we do have our separate channels. You can find me at Queen Tiamat on basically any platform: TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and you can find my co-host at
Ray of Sickness on like every platform as well.
Well, this has been a wonderful episode in the making. We hope you all enjoy it, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.